How dare you don't consider Gintama live action?
This guy clearly has no idea what he's talking
I
about.
thought Cowboy Bebop was a better live action.
You did not
I
just say
disagree.
Psyche
Live
live action. So,
A lot of people got triggered by my opinion on some live actions, and not mentioning some at all. And to solve that, I kind of did a really stupid thing. I promise that I will be. Okay then, let's start this with something to ease you into this video, okay?
The first recommendation is from Alan Kujur 3005 and it's Hentai Kamen.
What a great way to start this challenge. What a great way. I'm recording this literally after finishing the show and I was offended, I was speechless, and I wasn't laughing, even though it was a comedy show. So let me give you a taste of my suffering.
This guy is the son of a masochist police officer and a sadistic dominatrix mother. At the beginning, he refuses to admit that he is a pervert, even though he obviously is. But then, character development, and he discovers that when he puts panties on his face, he gets superpowers, which involve thrusting his crotch into other people's face. I'm not gonna show any of that, and trust me, you don't wanna see any of that.
Look, this type of comedy may have worked in an anime or a manga, but in real life, it's too much. And even if I was someone who likes this type of comedy like Borat or Dictator, this show is just not funny. Even though they tried to make it into a superhero parody, it does take itself so seriously, which made it really weird to watch. I hated every actor, I hated every scene, I hated the whole show, okay? It's the biggest what the f in the history of what the f. So Alan Kujur 3005 for this recommendation. I give it a 3 out of a 10 and this is just a pity point because I laughed at one joke in the whole show.
Next one is Death Note, recommended by Frightened Potato 9720. You have 40 seconds. I was just kidding, I can't kill people by just their name. I need to see their face too. So here's the thing about Death Note. I love Death Note, okay? At the age of 10 years old, I saw that and I thought, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That being said, I've never watched a Death Note live action. Apparently there are many of them, so I just went with the first one, which apparently is the highest rated on IMDb with 7.5. Okay. I didn't expect that I will like this movie as much as I did. The intro, really good. They simply started with a montage of Kira killing people. Like Light has already acquired the Death Note and the name Kira is known everywhere. So it's a really cool montage at the beginning. There were a lot of changes to the original story, which made the movie its own thing, and I loved that. Like the way Lights find the Death Note for the first time, which actually felt more natural. The dialogue was a little bit cringe, but can be overlooked if you just accept the movie the way it is and stop getting nitpicky over every detail like I was doing. What did I also write in the notes? CGI bad, but can be overlooked if you just stop acting like an anime fan for once. And the actor, Tatsuya Fujiwara, delivers the lines in a really cool way. I thought that Light Yagami in the live action version would be super cringe and really edgy, but it's actually pretty cool, especially since they avoided a lot of monologues that would work only in anime or manga format. I also wrote, this scene cracked me, and timestamp. I actually remember this, check this out. Next recommendation is from Fullmetal Alchemist. It's Bleach. This one is super fast-paced, to the point where a lot of moments feels really off. The progression of the event just doesn't feel natural at all. Like they are rushing through things without letting anything sink in. The movie is about the whole first season of Bleach. That's 20 episodes of the anime. Ichigo, a high schooler who gains the power of a Soul Reaper after meeting Rukia, now have to battle evil spirits called Hollows to return Rukia's powers before the Soul Society punishes them. Now, I have to admit, the visual effects, pretty cool. I mean, look at this. But by the end of the movie, the whole thing just felt empty. Like there is no real substance to it. You know that feeling when you eat cotton candy? It's sweet and flashy, but at the end you don't feel like you've eaten anything. That's exactly how I felt watching this. There is no big storyline, no emotional core, just a bunch of fights strung together. It's flashy, but it's hollow. Honestly, I can't rate it higher than a 3 out of a 10.
Next recommendation is from Citra45. It's Zoom 100. I've seen the first episode of the anime. I know how hard it goes. Here's just a snippet from the first episode so you get an idea.
行かなくてもいいんじゃね?
Can the live action live up to the expectations? Let's find out.
Our main guy, Akira, works at a black company. Basically, a soul-crushing job that drains the life out of him day after day. Then, the zombie apocalypse hits. And you would expect sheer panic, right? Not Akira. He wakes up to this chaotic, blood-soaked world in just... Instead of worrying about survival, he sees it as an opportunity to escape his corporate prison. No more deadlines, no more manipulative bosses, just freedom. For him, it's not the end of the world, it's the start of a new life. So he proceeds to create a bucket list of things he wants to do before he eventually turns into a zombie himself. Not ambitious goals, but the kind of things you dream of doing when you are buried under life's pressures. Now, the anime stands out with its use of bold, bright colors. The color scheme is almost celebratory, symbolizing Akira's newfound excitement for life after the apocalypse. And the live action actually captured that. You don't feel like you are watching a zombie movie. Everything feels fun and at the same time suspenseful somehow. And this is mostly due to a cool twist they added in the live action. Zombies are portrayed as being sensitive to sound, which adds a layer of suspense that isn't in the anime or manga. Aside from the first episode of the anime, I honestly enjoyed the movie more, so I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Next recommendation is from unknown DC2Q. It's Psyche is one of my favorite comedy anime. It's a 9 out of 10 from me. The live action, on the other hand, is a 4 out of 10. I can't believe I'm gonna use this word to describe a movie, but it was cringe. This is what the story is like. Psyche is a high schooler born with crazy psychic powers, but he just wants a normal, quiet life. However, his quirky classmates in endless absurd situations keep getting in the way, whether it's dodging attention or dealing with wild powers. Chaos follows him wherever he goes, no matter how much he tries to avoid it. Now, I usually love this director's works when it comes to live action adaptations. He's the genius behind Kyokara Orema, my favorite comedy live action, the hero Yoshihiko, and Gintama. Yes, I've said it. Gintama is a good live action, so please stop harassing me in the comment section. The same director also did Kamen, which isn't exactly my favorite. But still, I expected more from this guy when it came to Psyche. The story in the live action is just all over the place. It had such a great cast, but it feels like they couldn't bring the energy and quick-witted humor of the anime to life in the same way. The jokes and gags that worked so well in the anime felt forced and awkward in here, and the pacing was just off. You will notice I keep bringing up pacing in almost every live action review. But that's because it's such a crucial element. Anime and manga tend to have faster pacing, with sharp transitions and high energy scenes that works well in those formats. But if you just copy-paste the same scenes in a live action without adjusting for the medium, you end up with what I like calling awkward pacing. And that's exactly what happened here. The scenes feel either rushed or dragged out. It's disappointing, but I can't give it more than 4 out of 10. Next recommendation is from Babak321 Babak. It's
Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist.
It in all are two brothers who use alchemy to try to bring their mother back. Ed loses an arm and a leg, and all Soul gets stuck in a suit of armor. Now they are on a mission to find the Philosopher's Stone to fix their bodies, facing epic battles, dangerous enemies, and some heavy moral dilemmas along the way. You can tell a lot of work went into this one, but in the end, it's just painfully mediocre. The first thing that stands out is the color grading. What's going on in here? Everything has this strange yellow tint, and once you notice it, it's impossible to ignore. It's like someone slapped a filter on the whole movie. Then there are the costumes. Honestly, they are pretty bad. I get they were trying to stick to the original design, but something just doesn't translate well in the live action. And the blonde hair, it's weird. It sticks out like a sore thumb. It constantly took me out of the moment. I found myself staring at it more than I should have been.
Look, it's not as bad as Bleach, because at least in this one there is a story, but 5 out of 10 is the best I can do. For the next recommendation, 3 people actually recommended this. Spider-Machu123, Manijit Brav, and Somewhat Enjoyer. It's JoJo.
The story follows the first parts of Diamond is Unbreakable, and I was pleasantly surprised by how well they captured the essence of the original. The stand abilities looks amazing, and the visual effects are cool. However, I can't help but complain about the color grading. Again, it seems like so many live-action adaptations make some questionable decisions in this department. They took the vibrant world of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and turned it into a dark, thriller-like atmosphere. While I appreciate the attempt to take it into a different direction, the question is, why? Why not just keep the colors bright and lively? It would have been much better. Like, imagine if this is what the live-action looked like. this was gonna be epic. I feel like they've missed the point on what makes the series so unique and fun. Despite that, it was a solid adaptation overall, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, what's your favorite Spider-Man movie? Spider-Man 2, okay, that's a good choice. No Way Home? That's even better. You know what's my favorite one?
誰だお前は地獄からの使者スパイダーマン
You know the kind of shows that are so bad that they are good. I mean, it's not one of them, but this, I couldn't stop laughing the entire time because of how ridiculous it was. It came out in 1978, so of course it was gonna be bad. But I fucking enjoyed it so much. This Japanese Peter Parker name is Takuya. He likes motorcycle stunt riding. One day he starts hearing this. Then after the death of his dad, who is a professor, he falls into this pit and meets... I can't say this with a straight face, but...
私はガリアスパイダー星人だ
And of course the name of the evil professor he has to fight is Monster, so the spider planet puts spider extract into Takuya's veins. After that he dies and turns into a spider, and he helps Takuya by talking to him using telepathy? Oh my god. Now it's time for what you've been waiting for, the transformation into Spider-Man. This is gold. Okay, now the web that comes out from his wrist. Ain't no way that's not a rope.
Next recommendation is from Shadow Crow 18. It's Grand Blue.
Another character development moment from me, because from the clips I've seen, I was convinced that Grand Blue live action was gonna be bad. The story begins with this guy, who finds himself naked in the streets, confused about how he ended up there. He keeps waking up in the same situation as if trapped in a time loop, losing his memory each time he encounters this girl. As he pieces together clues, he realizes he just has been drinking excessively with the members of the local diving club. This revelation marks the start of the main story, which revolves around the quirky dynamics of the scuba diving club and their outrageous adventures. The live action turned out to be absolutely hilarious. I was laughing non-stop for the first 20 minutes of the show, which is the part where the main character is in this kind of time loop. The Kimi no Na wa parody, worshipping Darlene in the Frank's suit. It's ridiculous. I went into this with low expectations, but I've gotta say, it's worth a watch at least just for the jokes alone. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. The next recommendation is from Pranaver1247. It's... Okay, where do I even start with this one? First off, it's really annoying that Armin's hair isn't blonde. It's a small detail, but it's one of those things that really bugs you once you notice it. Then there is Mikasa. In the anime and manga, her scarf has so much significance. But here, it's reduced to like nothing. There is a scene where she just sneezes like... and then he gives her the scarf. No emotional weight at all. The story is also completely different from the original. Like instead of Eren's mother dying at the beginning, it's Mikasa who dies? Almost, which just throws off the whole dynamic. They also changed the time setting, so instead of traditional chariots and horses, now there are tanks and modern vehicles. The whole thing just feels like a completely different story, and not in a good way. The genre has also shifted to horror for some reason, which could have worked, but there is hardly any action to balance it out. And the action we do get is ruined by weird scenes, like a guy using judo to throw a 15-meter titan over his shoulder. I'm just saying, a titan that size weighs over 1,000 kilograms. And then there is the whole deal with Levi. He was replaced by some guy named Shikishima who just doesn't cut it. He spends half the movie acting like Ryuk from Death Note, munching on apples, and for some reason he's in a relationship with Mikasa. It just feels off. Speaking of Mikasa, she hates Eren in this version because he couldn't save her. The dynamic between them is completely ruined, and it's honestly hard to watch. Lastly, the color grading is once again terrible. Everything has this bleak, washed out look that doesn't do the movie any favors. Honestly, it's a mess. 1 out of 10 is the best I can give it. So yeah, that's it for the video. In the post I wrote asking you for recommendations, there were so many recommendations. I was gonna do 20, but halfway through I realized that it's gonna take a lot of time to review and watch all of that. So sorry if your recommendation didn't make it into the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and see you next time.